Imagine you are sitting alone, replaying a painful moment in your mind. Maybe someone said something that cut deep, or a situation didn't go as expected. You try to move on, but the pain lingers. Why does it hurt so much? Why do words, actions, and experiences have the power to affect you so deeply? Have you ever wondered why some people seem unaffected by negativity while others hold on to it for days, weeks, or even years? Why do certain experiences leave wounds that take forever to heal? And most importantly, is there a way to stop feeling hurt over and over again? Think about a time when a stranger insulted you. Did it bother you as much as when a close friend did the same? The words may have been similar, but the emotional impact was different. Why? Because attachment and expectations determine how much something can hurt you. Let's say you lend money to a friend, trusting they will return it. But weeks pass, and they avoid the topic. You feel betrayed, frustrated, and even foolish. But what if you had expected nothing in return? Would the situation have hurt you the same way? The truth is, pain is not just about what happens. It's about how we perceive it. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, a place where deep truths meet simple wisdom. If you've ever struggled with emotional pain, you're in the right place. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us bring you more life-changing insights. The reason people suffer is not because of life's hardships, but because of their reaction to them. Buddhism teaches that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The mind clings to painful moments, making them bigger than they are. But what if you could let go before they take control? Most of the things that hurt you come from expectations. You expect people to be kind, honest, and fair. You expect life to go smoothly. But when reality doesn't match your expectations, pain follows. This is why some people are never truly happy, because they are waiting for life to be perfect before they allow themselves peace. A Buddhist monk once said, "Holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone. You are the one who gets burned." The same applies to all emotional pain. The more you hold on, the more it consumes you. But how do you actually let go? It starts with awareness. Recognizing that your suffering comes not from the event itself, but from your mind's response to it. If you can change how you see pain, you can change how you feel pain. Think about this. Two people lose their jobs. One falls into despair, feeling like a failure. The other sees it as an opportunity for something new. The situation is the same, but their perception is different. Which one do you want to be? Buddhism teaches that nothing is permanent. Not joy, not pain, not even the people in your life. The things that hurt you today will not matter in a few years. So why let them steal your peace now? This video will guide you through the deep wisdom of Buddhist teachings, showing you how to stop letting anything hurt you again. Every part will reveal new insights, helping you build an unshakable mind. So stay with us, because what you'll learn next might just change your life. The power of non-attachment, freeing yourself from pain. Sit with me for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think about this. How much of your pain comes from the things you hold on to? A past argument, a lost relationship, a missed opportunity. Do these things still live inside you? Do they still hurt? Now, imagine if you could let them go, just like dropping a heavy stone from your hands. Imagine how light, how free you would feel. This is the power of non-attachment. This is the path to peace. Why do we hold on? Think of a time when someone hurt you with their words. Maybe they criticized you, insulted you, or ignored you when you needed them. The moment passed, but the pain stayed. Why? Because the mind clings to it. You see, the mind is like a hand that grabs things and refuses to let go. It picks up pain, anger, and sadness, then carries them around for days, months, or even years. But is this burden helping you? Or is it only making life harder? Letting go is not weakness. Many people believe that if they stop caring, they will become cold or heartless. But non-attachment is not about rejecting love, joy, or connection. It is about experiencing life fully without letting it control you. Imagine you are holding a beautiful flower. You enjoy its color, its scent, its softness. But the moment you squeeze it too tightly, the petals break and the beauty is lost. This is what happens when you attach too much to people, things, or emotions. Non-attachment does not mean you stop loving. It means you love freely, without fear, without ownership, without suffering. Pain comes from clinging. A man once asked the Buddha, "Why do I suffer?" The Buddha replied, "Because you desire things to be different than they are." Think about it. When you feel hurt, what is really happening? You are resisting reality. You want things to be different. You want someone to apologize. You want a situation to change. You want something that is not happening. But life does not move according to your wishes. It moves in its own way, like a river flowing down the mountain. If you try to fight the current, you will only tire yourself. But if you let go and flow with it, you will find peace. The illusion of possession. Most people suffer because they believe they own things. Money, relationships, even their own identity. But everything you own is borrowed from the world. Even your body is not truly yours. One day, you will leave it behind. If you do not own anything permanently, why hold on so tightly? Why let temporary things create permanent suffering? Imagine a bird sitting on a tree branch. The wind may shake the branch, but the bird is not afraid. It trusts its wings. This is non-attachment, knowing that no matter what happens, you will be okay. How to practice non-attachment? You might be wondering, how do I stop getting hurt? How do I stop clinging to things? The answer is simple, but not always easy. You must train your mind to let go. Here are some ways to start. See things as they are. Acknowledge reality. If someone treats you badly, do not wish they were different. Accept that this is who they are. Then decide how you want to respond. Detach from outcomes. You can do your best, but you cannot control the results. If you work hard and still fail, let it be. If someone does not love you the way you wish, let it go. Not everything is meant for you. Observe, don't absorb. When emotions rise, watch them like clouds in the sky. They come, they go, but they do not control the sky itself. You are the sky, not the clouds. Practice gratitude, not expectation. Enjoy what you have without expecting it to last forever. Every moment, every relationship, every joy is a gift. When it is time for it to go, let it go with love, not pain. Meditate on impermanence. Every morning, remind yourself, nothing is permanent. Nothing truly belongs to me. Everything changes. This will help you release attachments before they create suffering. The freedom of letting go. There is a story of a wise monk who carried a heavy sack of rice on his back. When someone asked him why, he said, "This is how most people live, carrying unnecessary burdens." Then, he dropped the sack and smiled. "This is freedom," he said. Ask yourself, what burdens are you carrying? What pain? What anger? What regret do you hold on to? And what would happen if you just let them go? Would the world end? Would you become weak? Or would you finally breathe, finally feel light, finally be free? You are not your pain. One of the greatest illusions is the belief that your pain defines you. But you are not your past. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your mistakes. You are something far greater, something that cannot be hurt unless you allow it. If you can understand this, truly understand it, then nothing will ever hurt you again. Because you will know the truth. Pain is just a visitor, and you decide when to let it go. Understanding impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. Now let it go. That breath is gone. You cannot hold on to it, no matter how much you try. Life is the same. Everything comes and goes. Nothing stays forever. This is the truth of impermanence. Have you ever noticed how quickly things change? A beautiful flower blooms in the morning but wilts by night. A sunny day turns into a storm in moments. People come into your life, and one day, they leave. No matter how much you want to hold on, everything keeps moving, changing, disappearing. Yet, we resist this truth. We want things to stay the same. We want happiness to last forever. We want people to never change, never leave. But the more we cling, the more we suffer. Have you ever held on to something so tightly, only to feel pain when it slipped through your fingers? That is the nature of attachment. Imagine a child building a sandcastle on the beach. He spends hours making it perfect. But when the tide comes in, the waves wash it away. If the child cries, it is because he believed the castle would last. But if he understands that the ocean will always take it back, he will smile and build another. Life is like that sandcastle. Everything you love, everything you fear, it will all change. No matter how much you try to control it, time moves forward. The more you understand this, the less you will suffer. Think about the last time you were hurt. Maybe someone left you. Maybe you lost something important. In that moment, it felt like the pain would never end. But look at you now. You are still here. The pain faded. The wound healed. That moment, which once felt unbearable, has passed. This is proof of impermanence. Buddha taught that suffering comes from clinging. We hold on to things as if they are permanent, and when they change, we feel pain. But what if, instead of clinging, we flowed with life like a river? What if we accepted change instead of fearing it? There was once a great emperor who asked a wise monk for a sentence that would always be true, no matter the situation. Something that would bring peace in hard times and wisdom in good times. The monk simply said, "This too shall pass." Happiness? It will pass. Sadness? It will pass. Success? It will pass. Failure? It will pass. Nothing is permanent. And when you understand this, you stop being afraid. Look at the trees in autumn. They do not cry when their leaves fall. They let them go, knowing that new ones will grow in spring. Why can't we do the same? Why do we hold on to things that are meant to leave? The truth is, impermanence is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Because of impermanence, pain does not last forever. Because of impermanence, every new day is a fresh start. Because of impermanence, even the worst moments will fade, and better ones will come. But to truly understand impermanence, you must see it in your own life. Look around. Everything is changing. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions. None of them are the same as they were yesterday. Even the person you were last year is not who you are now. If you grasp this truth, you will stop fearing change. You will stop being controlled by the past. You will stop worrying about the future. You will live fully in the present, knowing that nothing is forever. So, next time you feel pain, remind yourself it will pass. Next time you feel joy, cherish it, but do not cling to it. Flow with life, instead of fighting it. Let go, and you will find peace. The role of ego in suffering, letting go of the self. Do you know why people feel hurt so easily? Why a single word, a single action, or even a small look can create so much pain? It is because of ego. The ego is that voice inside you that says, "I am important. I deserve better. I should not be treated this way." And when life does not go the way the ego expects, suffering begins. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. The words themselves are just sound, just air moving from their mouth. But inside, your mind starts burning. Why? Because the ego takes it personally. The ego says, "How dare they speak to me like that? Don't they know who I am?" And just like that, pain is created. But here's the truth. If you let go of the ego, those words will have no power over you. Think of a mountain. No matter how strong the wind blows, the mountain does not move. But a small leaf? It is carried away so easily. The difference is strength. When the mind is full of ego, it is weak like a leaf, tossed around by every little thing. But when the mind is free from ego, it becomes steady like a mountain. Nothing can shake it. Ego is not just about pride. It is also about attachment to identity. If you see yourself as a kind person, and someone calls you rude, you feel hurt. If you believe you are strong, and someone calls you weak, you feel attacked. But why? Because the ego wants to protect its image. The more attached you are to an idea of yourself, the easier it is for others to hurt you. Look at the ocean. When someone throws a rock into it, the ocean does not complain. It does not cry. It does not hold onto the rock. It simply swallows it and moves on. But a small puddle, a single rock can disturb it completely. Be like the ocean. Do not let small things disturb your peace. Think about the last time you were hurt. Was it really the words or the actions that caused the pain? Or was it the meaning your ego gave to them? If someone ignores you, the ego says, "They don't respect me." And suddenly, you feel pain. But what if they were just busy? What if it had nothing to do with you at all? See how the ego plays tricks on the mind? Let me tell you a story. A Zen master was once insulted by a man who shouted at him, "You are a fool." But the master simply smiled and said, "If someone gives you a gift and you do not accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The man was confused and said, "It still belongs to the giver." The master nodded, "Then I do not accept your insult. It belongs to you." This is the power of letting go of the ego. If you do not accept negativity, it stays with the person who gives it. But the moment you take it personally, you allow it to hurt you. Ego also creates unnecessary battles. Have you ever argued with someone just to prove you were right? Did you win the argument but lose your peace? The ego does not care about peace, it only wants to be right. But ask yourself, is being right more important than being happy? There is an old Buddhist saying, "You are not the drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop." This means your true nature is vast, limitless, and free. The ego makes you believe you are small, fragile, and separate. But when you realize you are part of something greater, you stop taking everything so personally. Have you ever seen a dog barking at its own reflection in a mirror? It thinks there is another dog, so it gets angry. But the moment it realizes the truth, it stops barking. This is how the ego works. It makes you fight battles that do not even exist. The moment you see clearly, the fight disappears. Think about people who criticize you. What they say is a reflection of their own mind, not yours. If someone calls you worthless, it does not make you worthless. It only shows what is inside their mind. So why suffer because of someone else's thoughts? Imagine you are walking through a forest and a branch falls on your head. Do you get angry at the tree? No, because you know it was not personal. But if a person pushes you, you get angry. Why? The pain is the same, but the ego reacts differently. If you stop taking things personally, you stop suffering unnecessarily. Let go of this small self that constantly wants to prove, defend, and protect itself. The more you try to protect the ego, the more pain you create. True freedom is when you no longer need to defend yourself, because nothing can harm you anymore. Look at the sky. No matter how much dust is thrown into it, the sky remains clear. The sky does not fight back. The sky does not suffer. Be like the sky. Let things pass through you without holding on to them. Suffering is optional. The moment you realize the ego is the cause of most of your pain, you gain the power to free yourself. Imagine a life where no insult, no rejection, no unfairness can shake you. That life is possible, but only if you stop feeding the ego. Now ask yourself, who would you be without your ego? What would life feel like if you let go of the need to always be right, to always be respected, to always be in control? Try it. Just for one day, do not take anything personally. See how light and free you feel. This is the path to true peace. The illusion of control, embracing acceptance. Do you ever feel like life should go exactly as you planned? That people should treat you the way you expect? That everything should be fair, predictable, and in your control? But no matter how much you try, things slip away. People change. Situations take unexpected turns. And the harder you hold on, the more painful it feels when things don't go your way. Why is that? Why does life hurt so much when it doesn't match our expectations? The answer is simple. We believe we have control, but we never truly do. Think about it. Can you control what others think of you? Can you control the weather? Can you control time? No matter how much you plan, worry, or stress, life unfolds in its own way. Yet, we resist. We fight against reality, hoping to bend it to our will. And that fight is what causes suffering. Imagine you are holding onto a rope, trying to pull a heavy boulder up a mountain. The more you pull, the heavier it feels. It slows you down, drains your energy, and fills you with frustration. But what if you let go? The weight disappears. The struggle ends. You are free. This is how control works. The more you try to hold on to life, the heavier it feels. The moment you release the illusion of control, peace begins. Look at nature. It flows without resistance. The river doesn't try to change its course. It moves around obstacles. The wind doesn't ask permission to blow. It simply exists. The seasons don't argue. They change when it's time. If nature doesn't resist, why do we? Now, think about your own life. How many times have you been frustrated because things didn't go your way? Maybe a relationship ended when you weren't ready. Maybe an opportunity slipped away just when you needed it. Maybe someone hurt you when you expected kindness. In all these moments, the pain didn't come from the event itself. It came from your resistance to it. We believe that if we try harder, push more, or plan better, we can avoid pain. But life is unpredictable. No amount of control will stop difficulties from coming. The only thing we can change is how we respond. Imagine two people stuck in traffic. One honks, yells, and complains, feeling angry and powerless. The other sits calmly, knowing that frustration won't clear the road. Same situation, different reactions. Who suffers more? The great Zen masters say, when you resist reality, you suffer. When you accept it, you are free. But does acceptance mean giving up? No. It means understanding the difference between what you can change and what you cannot. You can't control how others behave, but you can control your reaction. You can't stop challenges from appearing, but you can control how much power they have over you. A wise monk once said, "You cannot calm the ocean, but you can learn to surf the waves." Life is like the ocean, sometimes calm, sometimes wild. If you fight the waves, you will drown in frustration. But if you learn to move with them, you will stay afloat, no matter how rough the waters become. So, how do you embrace acceptance? First, notice when you are resisting. Pay attention to moments when you feel frustrated, angry, or disappointed. Ask yourself, am I trying to control something I cannot? Second, take a deep breath and release the tension. Remind yourself, this moment is exactly as it is meant to be. No amount of stress will change it. Third, trust that life is unfolding as it should. Even the most painful moments have a purpose. The people who leave, the failures you face, the obstacles in your way, they are all part of your journey. Think about a time when you didn't get what you wanted, only to later realize it was a blessing. Maybe you lost a job, but it led you to a better one. Maybe you went through heartbreak, but it made you stronger. At the time, it felt like the worst thing in the world. But now, you see it differently. This is the power of acceptance. It turns pain into wisdom. Buddha once taught, the root of suffering is attachment. Attachment to outcomes. Attachment to people. Attachment to the belief that life should go our way. When we release that attachment, suffering disappears. Life is not meant to be controlled. It is meant to be experienced. The beauty of a sunset is in its impermanence. The joy of love is in its unpredictability. The magic of existence is in its mystery. So, the next time life doesn't go as planned, don't fight it. Pause. Breathe. Accept. Know that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Not in your time, but in life's time. And when you do, you will finally be free. The art of detachment, finding inner peace in chaos. Sit still for a moment. Breathe. Listen to the world around you. Do you hear the noise? The endless chatter of people, the demands of life, the weight of expectations pressing against your mind? This is the chaos of the world, and it never stops. But within you, there is a space untouched by all of it. A quiet, still place where peace is always present. The problem is, most people never find it. Why? Because they are too attached to the noise. Look at a tree in the storm. The wind howls, the rain falls, the branches bend, but the roots remain firm. The tree does not fight the storm. It moves with it, but it does not break. That is detachment. It is not about running away from life. It is about standing in the middle of the storm and still being at peace. But how do you do this? How do you stop emotions from pulling you in every direction? How do you stop getting attached to things that hurt you? How do you find peace when life is so unpredictable? The answer is simple, yet difficult. You must learn the art of detachment. Most people misunderstand detachment. They think it means not caring. That is not true. Detachment does not mean you stop loving, stop feeling, or stop living. It means you stop clinging. You stop expecting. You stop trying to control what is beyond you. When you detach, you free yourself. Imagine this. You hold a cup of tea in your hands. You enjoy its warmth, its taste, its comfort. But what happens if someone knocks the cup from your hands? If you are attached to it, you become angry. You feel loss, disappointment, frustration. But if you are detached, you simply watch it spill. You do not suffer because you never clung to it in the first place. Now, replace the cup of tea with everything in your life. Your relationships, your success, your possessions, even your thoughts. When you attach too deeply to any of them, you invite suffering. Because nothing stays the same. Everything changes. Everything comes and goes. And if you cannot accept this, life will always hurt you. Think about people. Have you ever noticed how the same person who once made you happy can also make you sad? One day, they say kind words, and you feel good. The next day, they say something harsh, and you feel pain. Why does this happen? Because you depend on them for your emotions. You attach your happiness to them, and that attachment gives them power over you. But what if you were detached? What if you loved someone deeply, but without attachment? Then, when they are kind, you appreciate it. When they are not, you do not suffer. Because your peace does not come from them. It comes from within you. Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." If you do not cling, you do not lose. If you do not expect, you are not disappointed. If you do not attach, nothing can shake you. Detachment is not coldness. It is freedom. Now, you may ask, how do I practice detachment in daily life? Start small. Start by observing instead of reacting. When something upsets you, pause. Do not let emotions pull you immediately. Ask yourself, is this truly worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. Detach from words. People will praise you, and people will criticize you. If you attach to praise, you will suffer from criticism. If you attach to criticism, you will never be free. Let both come and go, like the wind passing through the trees. Detach from outcomes. You work hard, but you cannot control the result. You love deeply, but you cannot control how others feel. You plan carefully, but life does not always follow your plan. If you attach to results, life will feel like a constant struggle. Instead, do your best, then let go. Detach from the past. The past is gone, yet many people carry it like a heavy stone, allowing it to shape their present. If you keep holding on to old pain, how can you move forward? Drop the stone. Free yourself. The past is only a memory. It does not have to be your prison. Detach from possessions. Owning things is not wrong, but being owned by things is suffering. When you attach your happiness to what you own, you live in fear of losing it. But when you see that things are temporary, you enjoy them while they last and let them go when the time comes. Detach from the need for control. Life will never go exactly as you want. No matter how carefully you plan, things will change. People will change. Situations will change. If you fight this, you will suffer. But if you flow with life, trusting its rhythm, you will be free. Buddhism teaches the story of a river. If you try to control the river, you exhaust yourself. If you fear where it leads, you create stress. But if you surrender and let the river carry you, you find peace. Life is that river. Let it flow. Some people fear detachment. They think, if I detach, won't I lose my passion? Won't I become numb? No. In fact, the opposite happens. When you are detached, you experience life more fully. You love without fear. You work without stress. You live without unnecessary suffering. Everything becomes lighter. Think about a bird in the sky. It does not hold onto the branch when it flies. It trusts its wings. It lets go. That is detachment. That is freedom. You do not need to hold on to anything. Your happiness is already within you. You just have to stop tying it to things that are beyond your control. Detachment is not about avoiding life. It is about embracing it fully, without fear, without need, without suffering. It is about living in the present, flowing with life, and finding peace no matter what happens. The world will always have storms. People will come and go. Situations will rise and fall. But if you master the art of detachment, nothing will break you. You will move with life, not against it. And in that movement, you will find something most people spend their whole lives searching for: peace. Mindfulness as a shield, protecting your inner world. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Listen to the sounds around you. Maybe it's the ticking of a clock, the rustling of leaves, or the distant hum of traffic. These sounds come and go, just like thoughts, just like emotions. You don't have to hold on to them. You don't have to let them control you. This is mindfulness. This is your shield against pain. Life is full of noise. People's words, expectations, disappointments, everything demands your attention. But the real question is, do you have to let it in? Do you have to absorb everything, react to everything, let everything affect your peace? The answer is no. Just as you don't allow a stranger to walk into your home and destroy it, why let anything enter your mind and create chaos? Mindfulness is your protection. It is the awareness of the present moment, the ability to see things as they are, without judgment, without attachment. It is the skill to watch emotions rise and fall, like waves in the ocean, without drowning in them. When you are mindful, pain loses its power over you. Think about a candle in a storm. If the wind is strong, the flame flickers and dies. But place the same candle inside a lantern, and it keeps burning, no matter what. Your mind is that flame. Without protection, it gets shaken by every little thing. Harsh words, failures, rejections. But mindfulness is the lantern that shields you. No matter what happens outside, your inner flame stays steady. Many people think pain comes from the outside world, but it doesn't. Pain comes from the way the mind grasps onto things. If someone insults you, the words alone do nothing. The man replied, to the giver. The Buddha smiled and said, then why do you accept the insults of others? If you do not take them, they belong to the giver, not to you. And this is the secret. You are not forced to accept the negativity of others. If someone insults you, betrays you, mistreats you, you can choose to let it stay with them. Do not take what is not yours. But how? How do you let go of pain that feels so personal? How do you forgive someone who never apologized? The answer is this. You do not do it for them. You do it for yourself. Holding on to resentment is like standing in the rain and expecting the other person to get wet. It does not work. The rain is falling on you, drenching you in misery. Only when you step out of it will you be free. Does this mean you should trust blindly? No. A wise person learns. If someone hurt you once, do not let them do it again. Protect yourself, but do not imprison yourself in hatred. Think of a lotus flower. It grows in mud, yet it rises above, untouched by the dirt. Be like the lotus. Do not let the actions of others drag you down. Rise above them. Many people confuse forgiveness with forgetting, but they are not the same. Forgiveness is saying, I will not let this control me anymore. It is not saying, I will allow this to happen again. Buddhism teaches that every person carries their own karma. You do not need to punish them. Life will do that on its own. You do not need to carry their burden. Let the universe handle it. Imagine walking through a garden, holding a sharp thorn in your hand. You clutch it tightly, unwilling to let go. The more you hold on, the more it cuts into your skin. Who is hurting you now? The thorn or yourself? This is how resentment works. You believe you are holding on to it to hurt someone else, but in truth, you are only hurting yourself. Ask yourself, what would happen if I let this go? What if I stopped carrying this anger, this pain? What if I chose peace instead? There is great power in compassion. It does not mean excusing bad behavior. It means understanding that people act out of their own pain. A person who lies, cheats, or hurts others is suffering in their own way. Their actions are not a reflection of you. They are a reflection of their own inner chaos. You are not responsible for their actions, but you are responsible for your own peace. You can choose to carry their negativity, or you can choose to let it go. In the end, the choice is yours. You can continue suffering, or you can be free. You can hold on to resentment, or you can rise above it. You can be trapped, or you can fly. So now, I ask you, what will you choose? The middle way, balance in emotions and reactions. Do you know why people suffer? It's not just because of what happens to them, but because they swing between extremes. One moment, they are too attached, expecting too much. The next, they try to cut off all emotions, pretending they don't care. But neither path brings peace. Imagine a man walking on a tightrope. If he leans too much to one side, he falls. If he leans too much to the other, he still falls. Balance is the only way forward. Life is the same. If you let emotions control you, they throw you into chaos. If you suppress them completely, you become cold, empty, and disconnected. The middle way is the answer. Think about anger. If you let it take over, you say things you regret, hurt people, and create suffering. But if you force yourself to suppress it, pretending you don't feel it at all, it builds up inside, turning into bitterness or stress. What if you could acknowledge anger without being consumed by it? That is balance. Now, think about happiness. People chase it like a butterfly, running after it without rest. But the more they chase, the further it flies away. On the other hand, some people fear happiness, thinking it won't last, so they never fully enjoy it. Neither extreme is wise. When happiness comes, embrace it without clinging. When it leaves, let it go without sorrow. This is balance. Buddha once said, just as a string on a lute must not be too tight or too loose, so too must your mind be in balance. If the string is too tight, it snaps. If it is too loose, it makes no sound. But when it is just right, it creates perfect music. This is how life should be. Look at nature. A river flows smoothly, not too fast, not too slow. Trees bend with the wind. They do not resist too much, nor do they fall too easily. Everything in nature follows the middle way, and that is why it thrives. People often ask, should I be kind, or should I protect myself? The answer is balance. Kindness does not mean allowing others to walk over you. And protecting yourself does not mean becoming harsh or selfish. Speak with compassion, but also with wisdom. Be soft when needed, but firm when necessary. This is balance. Imagine a man arguing with a stranger on the street. He is shouting, losing control. His heart is racing. His mind is clouded. Now imagine another man who is calm, listening carefully, responding with clarity. Who do you think is stronger? True strength is not about overpowering others. It is about mastering yourself. Think about your own life. How often have you been controlled by your emotions? When someone insulted you, did you react immediately, or did you take a breath? When something didn't go your way, did you break down, or did you adapt? Balance is not just about controlling emotions. It is about understanding them. Some people believe being emotional means being weak, while others think suppressing emotions is strength. Both are wrong. Strength is in knowing when to express and when to hold back, when to stand firm and when to let go, when to care and when to detach. This is the middle way. A monk once saw a man struggling to meditate. The man was frustrated, saying, I try to empty my mind, but thoughts keep coming. The monk smiled and said, if you tighten your grip on water, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it stays. The more you force your mind to be still, the more restless it becomes. The key is not to fight thoughts, but to observe them, like watching clouds pass in the sky. Balance is also about patience. Have you ever noticed how people rush into decisions when they are emotional? Someone feels hurt, so they cut off relationships. Someone feels excited, so they make big promises. But emotions change. What seems unbearable today might feel small tomorrow. What seems thrilling now might not last. Give yourself space before making decisions. Think about a candle. If the flame is too strong, it burns out quickly. If it is too weak, it dies. But when it is steady, it glows beautifully. Your mind is the same. If you are too reactive, you burn yourself out. If you are too detached, you lose warmth. The middle way allows you to shine without burning. Now, look at your own habits. Do you let sadness take over completely, or do you ignore it, pretending you are fine? Do you let excitement drive your choices without thinking, or do you suppress joy, fearing disappointment? Every extreme causes suffering, but the middle way leads to peace. Buddha taught that suffering comes from craving and aversion, wanting too much or rejecting too much. When you crave, you become desperate. When you reject, you become resistant. But when you simply allow things to come and go, you remain free. Imagine holding a bird in your hand. If you squeeze too tightly, you harm it. If you hold too loosely, it flies away. But if you hold it gently, it stays. This is how you must handle life, holding it with care, but never clinging too tightly. Many people think balance means being neutral, without emotions. But that is not true. Balance means feeling deeply without being controlled by emotions. It means experiencing everything but being attached to nothing. It means walking through fire without being burned. Now, reflect on your life. Where have you been too extreme? Have you been holding on to things too tightly? Have you been pushing things away too harshly? Awareness is the first step to balance. The more you observe your mind, the more you will see when you are leaning too far in one direction. Buddhism is not about escaping life. It is about living fully, but wisely. It is about experiencing everything, but not being shaken by anything. It is about walking through joy and sorrow with the same steady heart. This is the path to true peace. So, as you go forward, remember, don't lean too much to one side. Don't be ruled by emotions, but don't reject them either. Stay centered, stay balanced, and you will walk through life with unshakable peace. Breaking the cycle of hurt, choosing conscious responses. You have been hurt before, haven't you? Someone's words, someone's actions, something unfair that happened to you. It all left a mark. Maybe you carried it for days, months, or even years. But here's the question. How long do you want to carry it? How long will you let it control you? Life keeps moving, whether you heal or not. The world doesn't stop when you are in pain. It doesn't wait for you to feel better. So, will you let your suffering decide how you live? Or will you take control? Think about it. Pain comes from a cycle. Someone hurts you, and you react. Maybe you lash out. Maybe you retreat into sadness. Maybe you let anger take over. That reaction creates more pain, and the cycle continues. You hurt yourself more by holding on to it. But what if you could break that cycle? Imagine a man walking through a forest. He stubs his foot on a rock. He shouts in anger, blaming the rock, cursing his luck. His foot hurts, but his anger makes it worse. Now he's not just in pain, he's suffering. But what if, instead, he simply acknowledged the pain and kept walking? The pain would still be there, but it wouldn't control him. Most people live like that man. When something hurts them, they react. But reactions are not solutions. If you react without thinking, you only feed the pain. Every time you hold on to anger, every time you replay the hurt in your mind, you give it more power. You keep it alive. Buddhism teaches that pain is like a fire. If you keep feeding it, it will keep burning. If you stop feeding it, it will die on its own. But here's what most people don't realize. The fuel is not what happens to you. The fuel is your reaction. Someone insults you. You feel hurt. Why? Because you believe their words. If you didn't, their words would be meaningless. A stranger could call you foolish, but if you know you are wise, would it bother you? No. It is not their words that hurt. It is your mind agreeing with them. What if you could respond differently? What if, instead of reacting with anger or sadness, you could pause? Just for a moment. Just long enough to choose. Imagine the power of that. Imagine being able to decide how you feel, instead of letting the world decide for you. This is what it means to break the cycle of hurt. It is not about pretending pain doesn't exist. It is about not letting pain control you. It is about seeing things as they are, not as your emotions paint them to be. Let's say someone betrays you. Your first reaction might be anger, maybe sadness, maybe even revenge. But ask yourself, what will that reaction bring you? Will it undo the betrayal? Will it make you feel better? Or will it just keep the pain alive? A wise person once said, "Do not let a snake bite you twice." The first bite is what happens to you. The insult, the betrayal, the unfairness. The second bite is your reaction, the pain you continue to carry. But here's the truth. You can stop the second bite. You are not weak for letting go. You are not foolish for choosing peace. In fact, it takes great strength to break the cycle, to choose differently when everything in you wants to react. But that strength is within you. Think of a calm lake. When a stone is thrown into it, the water ripples for a while, then becomes still again. But if the wind keeps stirring the water, the ripples never stop. Your mind is the same. Pain may cause ripples, but if you do not keep stirring them with your thoughts, they will settle. So, how do you stop the wind? How do you stop reacting? First, you pause. Before you react, take a breath. Just one deep breath. That breath creates space. And in that space, you have a choice. Do you react blindly, or do you choose peace? Second, you observe. Instead of saying, "I am angry," say, "Anger is present." Do you see the difference? One makes you the anger. The other makes you the observer. and an observer can choose. Third, you remind yourself, this moment will pass. Everything passes. What feels unbearable today will be a memory tomorrow. Don't give it more power than it deserves. The next time something hurts you, remember, you do not have to react. You do not have to carry it. You do not have to keep feeding the fire. You can let go, and when you do, you will feel something incredible, freedom, because real strength is not in fighting back. It is in knowing when to walk away. Real power is not in control over others. It is in control over yourself, and real peace is not found outside. It is created within. Break the cycle. Choose your response. Set yourself free. Building an unshakable mind. Inner strength through wisdom. Sit down for a moment. Breathe. Let go of everything, just for now. The world keeps moving. Fast. Unpredictable. Chaotic. People will disappoint you. Situations will not go your way. Life will not always be fair. But tell me, if the storm outside is wild, do you step into it, or do you find shelter? The same goes for the mind. If the world is noisy, let your mind be quiet. If the world is cruel, let your heart be kind. This is the way to inner strength. You have been hurt before. You have felt pain, rejection, betrayal, and loss. It felt like the world was against you. But was it really? Or was it just your mind resisting what was happening? Look closely. It was not life that hurt you. It was your attachment to how you thought life should be. The gap between expectation and reality is where suffering lives. Close that gap, and you become free. Imagine a strong tree standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, but the tree does not fight the storm. It does not resist. It bends, it sways, it allows the storm to pass. And when it does, the tree is still standing. This is how you must be. Life will bring storms, but if you resist them, you will break. If you bend, if you accept, you will remain unshaken. Most people live like dry leaves, carried away by every wind of emotion. One insult, and their peace is gone. One rejection, and they crumble. One failure, and they lose hope. But a mind that is trained, a mind that is grounded in wisdom, does not shake so easily. Pain may knock, but it does not enter. Do you know why suffering controls so many people? Because they have never learned how to control their minds. They let every passing thought, every external event, every small disappointment dictate how they feel. But tell me, if a traveler knocks on your door, do you invite them in without question? No. Then why do you do this with every thought and emotion? You must be selective with what you allow inside your mind. A man once came to the Buddha, furious, insulting him with harsh words. The Buddha sat silently, unaffected. The man became even angrier. "Why are you not reacting?" he shouted. The Buddha smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift, and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" The man hesitated. "To the giver," he replied. The Buddha nodded. "Then why should I accept your anger?" This is wisdom. You do not have to accept every insult. You do not have to carry every pain. You do not have to react to every situation. Choose what you allow into your heart. You have that power. Some people live in fear of being hurt. They avoid risks, they avoid love, they avoid life itself, thinking this will protect them. But this is like a bird refusing to fly because it fears the wind. The purpose of life is not to avoid pain, but to become so strong that pain can no longer shake you. Strength does not mean being emotionless. Strength means feeling everything but not being ruled by anything. A strong mind does not suppress pain. It understands pain. It observes it, it studies it, and then it lets it go. You must understand something very important. Nothing lasts forever. Not happiness, not sadness, not even pain. Whatever is hurting you today, whatever is troubling your heart, it will pass. But only if you let it. Many people hold on to pain long after the event is over. It is like carrying a heavy bag even after reaching the destination. Put it down. Free yourself. A trained mind does not hold on to the past. A trained mind does not fear the future. A trained mind is fully present, fully alive, fully aware. This is why meditation is so powerful. It teaches you to sit with your thoughts, to see them for what they are, and to let them come and go like clouds in the sky. There is an old Zen saying, "You cannot stop the waves, but but you can learn to surf. This is what wisdom teaches you. You do not need to stop life from happening. You do not need to control everything. You only need to control how you respond. If someone betrays you, let them go. If someone insults you, do not take it personally. If life does not go your way, accept it and move forward. This is not weakness. This is the ultimate strength. Weakness is reacting to everything. Weakness is being controlled by emotions. Strength is choosing peace even when chaos surrounds you. So tell me, what are you holding on to that is hurting you? What thought, what memory, what fear, and why? If it does not serve you, if it does not bring you peace, then release it. The past is gone, the future is unknown, but this moment, right now, is yours. Fill it with peace. An unshakable mind is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Every time you choose calm over anger, patience over frustration, wisdom over impulse, you are building strength. And one day, you will wake up and realize that nothing outside of you has the power to disturb your inner peace. The world will not change. People will still lie. Situations will still disappoint. Hardships will still come. But you will not be the same. You will be the tree in the storm, bending but never breaking. You will be the ocean, deep and steady, unaffected by the waves above. You will be free. And when you reach this state, nothing, no one, no event will ever hurt you again. Liberation from pain, the final step to true freedom. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe. Feel the air moving in and out. This moment, right now, is all there is. The past is gone. The future is unknown. And yet, the mind clings. It holds on to words that were said, moments that have passed, and pain that no longer needs to exist. But what if I told you? You don't have to carry it anymore. You have traveled far on this path. You have learned about the nature of suffering, the illusion of control, the weight of expectations, and the power of detachment. But knowledge alone is not enough. Now, it is time to let go. Fully, completely, and forever. Think about the things that have hurt you. The betrayals, the disappointments, the rejections. Picture them as stones in a bag that you've been carrying on your back. Heavy, isn't it? And yet, no one is forcing you to carry them. No one is holding a gun to your head, demanding that you keep them. The weight is yours by choice. So, why not put it down? Most people live their lives like this, carrying the weight of things they no longer need. They replay arguments, relive painful memories, and hold on to resentments that serve no purpose. But pain does not heal by holding on to it. It heals when you release it. You might think, but how can I just let go? It's not that easy. But who told you it had to be hard? The moment you decide you are free, you are free. Right now, this very second, you can drop the weight. You can choose to stop suffering. Look at the sky. Have you ever seen the clouds try to hold on to the wind? No. They move. They flow. They do not resist the natural order of things. But humans resist. They cling. They try to control things that are beyond them. And in that struggle, they suffer. If someone insults you, it is their action, not yours. If someone leaves you, it is their journey, not yours. If life does not go as planned, it is not a punishment. It is simply life. And life owes you nothing. It moves like a river, flowing where it must. The question is, will you flow with it? Or will you fight the current, exhausting yourself with resistance? There is a story of a monk who was once slapped by a man on the street. The monk did not react. He simply smiled and walked away. When someone asked him why he did not retaliate, he said, "Why should I carry his anger in my heart? That is the way of freedom. Do not carry what does not belong to you." Think of the things that once hurt you deeply, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the failures. At that time, they felt unbearable, didn't they? But now they are only memories. They have no power except the power you give them. And if you stop feeding them, they will fade. So many people believe that healing takes time. But healing is not about time. It is about decision. The moment you decide that you are done suffering, suffering ends. The only thing keeping pain alive is the mind's refusal to let go. Ask yourself right now, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? Is it anger? Is it regret? Is it something someone said? Whatever it is, release it. See it for what it is, just a thought. And thoughts, like clouds, will pass if you do not hold on to them. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us bring you more life-changing insights. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the peace that comes when you stop fighting, stop resisting, and simply accept. This is the secret to never being hurt again. It is not about avoiding pain. It is about not letting pain own you. Remember this. No one can hurt you unless you allow it. No event, no word, no action has power over your peace unless you give it permission. And you, my friend, are stronger than you think. This is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning. You are now free to walk through life with lightness in your heart, without the weight of unnecessary suffering. You know the way now. You have the wisdom. All that is left is to live it. Sit comfortably. Take a deep breath. Let the world fall away for a moment. This journey is not about hearing more words, learning more theories, or collecting more knowledge. It is about understanding something so deeply that it becomes part of you. If you have walked with me this far, then you already know what suffering is. You have felt it, questioned it, and perhaps even loosened its grip on you. But there is still more to see. The mind will try to hold on. It will search for justifications to stay hurt. It will tell you that the pain was real, that the past mattered, that what happened should not be ignored. But do you see what the mind is doing? It is trying to own the pain, trying to make it part of your identity. But tell me, who would you be without it? Imagine for a moment that you had no memory of being hurt, that all the pain, all the betrayal, all the disappointments simply never happened in your mind. How would you feel right now? Free? Light? At peace? That feeling is already within you. The only thing standing between you and that peace is your own attachment to the story of your pain. Let me tell you a story. The man who refused to let go. There was once a man who carried a large sack filled with heavy stones. Every day, he struggled under its weight, sweating and complaining about how difficult life was. When people asked him why he carried the sack, he would say, "These stones represent all the wrongs done to me. Every betrayal, every harsh word, every failure. I keep them here to remember." One day, a Zen master saw the man and said, "Why do you carry such a heavy burden?" The man replied, "Because I must. If I let go of these stones, I am afraid I will forget what happened." The Zen master smiled and said, "If you let go, you will not forget. You will simply be free." The man hesitated, then asked, "But if I do not carry them, how will I prove that I have suffered?" The master laughed gently and said, "Suffering does not need proof. The only thing it needs is release." The man looked at his sack, then at the master. For the first time, he saw the truth. He was carrying pain by choice. And so, he put the sack down. Do you see? You are that man. You have been carrying pain for too long. But now, you can put it down. Why we cling to pain? Many people believe they cannot let go because their pain is special. They think, "No, my situation is different. My pain is deeper. My suffering is greater." But this is just another illusion. Suffering is not unique. It is the most ordinary thing in the world. Everyone suffers, but not everyone chooses to keep suffering. What are you holding on to right now? A past relationship? A betrayal? A mistake? An insult? Whatever it is, ask yourself why. Why are you keeping it alive in your mind? What do you gain from it? Some people hold on to pain because it gives them a sense of identity. Others hold on because they think it makes them stronger. But true strength is not in holding on. It is in letting go. The art of true detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean you do not care. It means you see things as they are, not as you want them to be. It means you experience life fully, but without letting it control you. Here is how to practice true detachment. See, everything is temporary. Nothing in life lasts forever. Not joy, not sorrow, not even the people you love. When you accept this, you stop clinging. Stop trying to control what you cannot control. The world does not move according to your desires. The more you resist reality, the more you suffer. Observe, but do not absorb. Let things happen around you, but do not take them personally. Someone's anger is their burden, not yours. Choose peace over being right. Many arguments, many pains come from wanting to be right. But ask yourself, would you rather be right or be free? The last illusion, the self. There is one final attachment that causes pain, the attachment to yourself. Think about the things that hurt you. They all have one thing in common. They hurt your sense of self. How could they do this to me? Why did this happen to me? I deserved better. Do you see? The root of all suffering is the idea that you are a fixed self, separate from the rest of existence. But you are not separate. You are not even the same person you were yesterday. You are constantly changing, evolving, shifting. When you stop taking life personally, suffering disappears. The world does not happen to you. It just happens. A drop of water in the ocean does not complain when the tide changes. It moves with it. Be like water. A final practice, the release ritual. If you are ready to let go completely, do this. Find a quiet place. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Think of something that has hurt you deeply. Feel the weight of it inside you. Do not resist. Just feel it. Now, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, say, I release this. Do it again and again, until you feel the weight lessen. When you open your eyes, imagine that the pain is gone forever, because it is. This is the beginning of your true freedom. You are free. You have reached the end of this teaching, but this is not the end of your journey. Now, you walk forward with nothing weighing you down. No past, no pain, only peace. Remember, no one can take your happiness away from you unless you give it to them. No word, no action, no event can shake you unless you allow it. Now, live. Live lightly. Live freely. Live without fear. Because the only thing that ever truly hurt you was your own mind. And now, your mind is free.